back at WNST, Towson, Baltimore. And Baltimore Positive, we are positively getting the Maryland Crab Cake Tour back out on the road. I've been wearing all sorts of fun shirts here this week. Costas this Tuesday. I've got some great confirmed guests. We were at Fadley's last Friday with Bill Cole. I was also joined by Matt Campbell, who is the executive director of the Baltimore Convention Center. So I learned a ton. I've gotten to know Mac this last summer. He's a great friend of Alan McCallum, so you know he's a decent dude. And also was joined by Jeffrey Ratno, who is a local developer, talking about the future of Harbor Place. All of that was brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. I had some Raven scratch-offs to give away. We had a couple of winners at Phillies. No big ones, but we did have a $5 winner that I know of. Sometimes you get $100 winners, and they stuff the – I would run out the back door. What I learned is if it says CMD Lottery, that means get out of there. You won a whole lot of money. And, you know, and find some guy like Leonard Raskin help you take care of it. Our friends at Window Nation, 866-90Nation, also putting on the Maryland Crab Cake Tour, as well as Jiffy Lube Multi-Care, and there's one right around the corner from you. They did my oil for me 2 weeks ago. My oil over in Merritt Boulevard. So we're going to be at Pappas next Tuesday. In Parkville, the original Pappas. We're going to be at Coco's on the 29th, which is the Wednesday after Thanksgiving. The 30th, we're going to be at the BMA in Gertrude's with John Shields, as well as Dan Rodricks, our friends at the Baltimore Museum of Art. And then on Friday, the 1st of December, we're going to be at Hollywood Casino up in Perryville. And Kurt McEwen's band's playing that night. Maryland's playing Indiana in basketball. So a lot of things going on. Come on out, visit us. We'll be at State Fair December 5th. Leonard Raskin is here. It's a short week, right? I mean, they play Thursday night. You dust off a little bit here. We don't have the Orioles that concern us. The Terps on the basketball court, not so much. The football. But this turn of events, you know, after like 2:30 on Sunday, you know, it's be the angry phone caller for me here, Leonard. Let it all out. Let it all go. Let it go.
What the heck happened? I mean, the team snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. I can't say that I blame Lamar for the pick six. I mean, what are you going to do? The guy tips it up in the air. It's up there like a balloon for a half an hour. They catch it and run it in. You can't do much about that. But my goodness, we couldn't move the ball. We had about, I think, 2.5 good offensive drives on the day, 2.5. And the rest of the time it was like walking in quicksand. They were just slugging along. Now, granted, the Cleveland Browns defense is pretty extraordinary. The problem was their offense didn't do anything in the first half, so it made us look like we're the best team in the NFL. And then something happened at halftime, and something happened shortly between the third and fourth quarter. And they got their legs, and they figured out how to stop us, and we couldn't figure out how to stop them. It looked like the edge was left alone, and they could run free will around the edge anytime they wanted. And suddenly, we had the second coming of Deshaun Watson. He woke up, and he started to play like Deshaun Watson. And they have some good receivers. They have some decent running backs. And even with their hurt line, we couldn't bring him down. And he evaded, eluded, and beat us. Plain and simple, they beat us. And it was terrible. And I think we've got 3 losses on the year, and all 3 of those games ridiculously winnable, and all 3 of those games beaten by our own bad play calling, bad play operations, bad play. I think that's the case a lot in the NFL. As I watch other teams and other games, you don't often look. We beat the Lions, and we beat the Seahawks, right? We beat them, but you don't see that often when you get 2 good teams on the field. You had Houston and Pittsburgh. No. Green Bay and
Cincinnati.
Pittsburgh. Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Houston, Cincinnati. And if you watch any of those highlights, because I was at the game on Sunday, I didn't get a chance to see those games, but I did watch highlights.
I get to watch them all at home now, thanks to Chad Steele. I have a whole different. You get the experience I used to have, and now I get the experience that I'm forced to have.
How many interceptions? By the way, how many interceptions did Joe Burrow throw? 2 or 3 in the red zone, something.
Well, I mean that the one in the fourth quarter was like it felt like it was
Crazy.
going to cost him the game. Then they
And
come
then it
back and
didn't.
get the game level, and then they wind up losing it anyway. So like,
Right. So
and
yeah,
Stroud,
look,
your guy Stroud's he's a
CJ
ball
Stroud,
player.
rookie of the year. He's
He's a ball
playing
player.
playing big. He's playing big. But again, the Bengals lost that game. Houston won, but the Bengals blew it. He blew it. And then the Steelers, Green Bay, what did they do? They had it on the chance, 3 seconds to go. What does Love do? Love gives them some love to Pittsburgh and throws the ball to them. And so
Well, all the
I think
Steelers do is win. I love that Tomlin line, which
it's
says we're not going to
crazy.
apologize for
It's
winning. And
crazy.
they
No,
shouldn't apologize for winning.
the
And
dub's all that
by
matters.
the way, I don't want to like get you too stirred up here early in the week because it is a short week. We all got to get some rest, get to the game Thursday night. Luke informed me, and this kind of hit me like cold water on Monday morning. Monday morning, Luke, I'm having my first cup of Rofo. I'm out of coffee by the time you get here, right? So like, I don't have it. I don't have my cold roofing mug, none of that. And Luke says to me, "You do know if they lose to the Bengals on Thursday, which they could, right? I mean, these games are sloppy, ugly. They
right.
lose. Whoever wins the Pittsburgh-Cleveland game
is
in
first place.
And I'm like,
place
what?
in the division. That's nuts.
I didn't go to bed even realizing that on Sunday night.
Nuts.
That's how unwoken I was,
It's nutty. Yeah, look, we had the division and the season in our control Sunday morning. And now you've got to beat the Bengals to keep that. And like you said, Thursday night, short weeks, ugly games. Let's hope, I don't know, Ronnie Stanley going to be okay. Marlon Humphrey going to be okay. You don't want Jamar Chase running out there without Marlon Humphrey.
Well, I mean, the injuries. Leonard Raskin is here, by the way. Raskin Global. I'm wearing the shirt. He helps folks with their money, managing their life, making sure they can finish things. Maybe even if you start, even if you're in the third quarter of life, as maybe I am at this point, and trying to salt things away, and you're like, you gave the ball away at the 2-minute warning. He still has time. There's still time, right? I'm 55.
Still time.
Right?
Still time.
Is there time
for me? There is
still
time. There's still time. They say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is right now.
I found that out because I planted trees 2 years ago for my mother, and
there you go.
And they're starting to look beautiful. So yeah,
to look like trees.
Well,
yeah.
So this whole notion that 2 games, 4 days, big part of the season, other teams coming on in whatever way you think Pittsburgh's coming on, and we watch Cleveland come on. We're a part of helping them come on.
Pittsburgh's not coming on; they're just winning. Pittsburgh's been outgained every game they've played, and they're still winning.
That means they're coming on. Then they're coming on. The only place that matters is
the W column is all that matters.
Well,
that's right.
So for where the Ravens are injury-wise, and I think it was you and me talking last week, I put a little clever headline up about good health, healthy as we could be, and as Luke said, man, that's 60 minutes of in this league. Who knows? And where we were with Lamar the last couple of years, but boy, Humphrey and Stanley wasn't playing great to begin with. Moses is out. He's a guy who's never missed any time.
Yep.
This is a different narrative. I got flippant with Luke, and it took me 2 hours on Monday morning before I finally said to him, hold on a minute. If they're going to play every week with Falele and with McCary as tackles, I don't think McCary's a tackle, by opinion. Not natural position. If you were going to put him somewhere, tackle wouldn't be where you put him. They can't win the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not being a jerk. That's nothing against Lamar or Mark Andrews. I just don't think you can win a Super Bowl with turnstile tackles. I mean, think about the Bengals a couple years ago, how good they were. Then those guys get hurt on the offensive line. They can't win the Super Bowl. That's
it. You can't move the ball and you can't protect Lamar. You can't win. That's simple. One of the things I look at, and again, I'm no coach. I'm just a fan for 59 years or probably 55 years because the first 4 didn't know what the heck anything was anyway. But I think Lamar out of the shotgun is fine, but the man needs to step back a step or 3. He gets that ball, he's ready to go. I think he needs to step back a step or 3 to get a little more time.
You're talking about a whole different kind of cadence, right? I mean,
yeah. But I don't know why he doesn't step back a step or 3. He seems to be quick. The defense is quick to him, and when you got a line that ain't all there, you better have your protection in place.
Well, and that's what,
This
like,
is,
putting a game plan in for Cincinnati. They know
yep,
us, we know them, all of
yep,
that. But not being able to run plays, not being maybe walking through on Wednesday or whatever, but things they're going to try to do that they're going to have to play differently without Morgan Moses and Ronnie Stanley. And case in point would be, did you watch the game on Sunday after Stanley? Like
right.
watching it, everything sort of stopped. And Lamar looks different. I think
And I
patterns
don't
look different. And
understand
this
one of the
notion that they're going to
things.
go down the field too is
It's fine, but he's missed so many long balls. It's just not good. He's overthrown everybody except when he underthrew. I think it was Bateman, and they picked it off. He's overthrown everybody except the underthrow that got intercepted. And my goodness, where's our red zone? We took, it seemed like 25 plays. I know it was like 7 or 8, but after the James Prochet, I still play for the Ravens. Thank you very much. Here's the ball on the 11.
is it terrible of me that when the ball hits him, I think of gambling?
I think of gambling.
Yeah, like,
No.
like if I thought to myself, if somebody wanted to throw a game, that's what it would look like, right? Like,
Right,
I'm just thinking
right.
to myself, I'm
He
like,
just said,
I don't
"Here,
know how a
Doof.
football player could ever throw a game, right?
Here,
You talk
Doof.
about
Take the ball.
gambling, and people always
Take
like,
the ball,
the
dude."
officials are fixed and this and that. I'm like,
What was the spread? I don't even know what it was.
6.
6.
And I
We
took
were
the Browns because
plus
by the
6.
way, I got my can I tell you
The
because
Browns
you
plus 6 was a good pick.
by the way, you're an investment guy, right? And I
Yes,
make my
yes.
picks, and I have my sheet of paper that I make them on. I make them
Yeah,
every week.
yeah.
By the way, Christian Horton, who is our sportsbook manager at Hollywood Casino in Perryville, who is a really struggling Bill Belichick New England Patriot. He's one of those.
Mm,
He's from that part of the world. He's
mm.
coming for a crab cake. Might be eating your crab cake at Pappas in Parkville next week if you're not going to be there. I'm just saying he's coming to the crab cake tour, and he and I do our picks every week. So I just
Yep.
want to give a plug to our friends at Hollywood Casino up in Perryville. And this is how it's hard to invest in the National Football League,
Oh,
right? So I was at one point, I'm 73, 61 and 4. So I was 12 games over 500. I had a rough week last week. I was 6 and 8 last
that's
week.
okay.
I came in this week. I'm 5 and 8. We haven't done Monday night yet. God bless the Bills in 7.5.
Oh,
But so I am now moved into this place where, like, one of my former employees used to be talking gambling on the air all day, and I don't do any of that. But I'm
right.
just picking these games on Wednesdays with Christian up
Yeah,
and
just for fun.
for fun, and just to say, like, if they gave me a mythical $100,
Right. How would I do?
how would I do? And next year, I think I'm going to have more fun with this because I want to get the money involved. I want to be able to say, if I had $1,000 a week or $500 a week, what would I go more money on this, less money on, like, just really
Well,
think
here's what
about
I
it from
know.
go ahead. What do you know?
Here's what I know about gambling.
Go ahead.
Unless you're a gambler. If you are a gambler, you don't care. You bet, you spend, you rip, and it's all irrelevant because the high, the endorphins, the shot of dopamine
Winning,
that
right?
you
That
get,
thing, right?
the dopamine you get from winning is so strong that nothing stops you. It's like being on crack, and
And
you
the hurt
bet.
of losing doesn't get to you.
Correct. It doesn't even matter.
Because
The
you
win
always
is
say people
all it
love to
is.
talk about their stocks and when they win, but they
When
never
they
tell
win.
you when they were on U.S. surgery,
No,
it went from
no,
91 to 28.
yeah, they never tell you what they lost. Nobody ever tells you about their investments that lost money. Everybody wins. Everybody makes money in the market all the time. Just like Bernie Madoff, all the time win. But the pain for normal non-gambler people, the pain of losing money is this is proven by study after study in behavioral finance and economics. The pain of losing money is 10x the pump of winning when you're not that gambler person. So people get crushed emotionally by losing money, and then they make mistakes. They do all kinds of bad things. Now, when it comes
Panic.
to
Yeah,
gambling,
yeah.
when it comes to gambling, if you're not that guy who is burned up by the win, you'll lose because you bet wrong. And the other thing is that I know about betting, and this is just, again, study after study with investments as well as gambling. Fake money gets erratic behavior that real money does not. You feel no pain about losing when you're playing with fake money. It's amazing your brain can distinguish, but you feel no pain. So I go to one of these charity casino nights.
Okay.
They give you $10,000.
That's always
I,
fun.
I shoot I shoot craps and I play like a man with his hair on fire, and I usually win. And then I go to the casino with $100 and lose. Real $100 at the casino because I ain't betting that money like I bet fake money. It's
Well, I
just not
got all
happening.
cocky about week 6 or 7. I was 10,
Yeah.
15 above, and then I start to like. I'm now at that point where I'm whittling in. Now I should be getting smarter, right? The season's getting longer.
Nope.
I've been doing this a long time. I was
Josh
5-8.
Dobbs is winning, for God's sakes.
Well, Cleveland's good thing I took Cleveland. They're one of the ones that won this week. But I took
Yeah.
Cleveland at 6 points. My rationale was division game,
Tight.
closer than you think. Ravens had big blowout last week. Last week equals nothing for this week.
Nope.
They have played these kinds of games against slogging teams. This is second time around for the Browns. They're going to be better than 28-3. Give me the 6 points. I thought the Ravens would win 23-21. I thought
Yep.
it would be one of those Tucker field goal type of things. And and I did Cleveland radio last week. I didn't even run it on NST. I just kind of got tied up over the weekend. I honestly forgot that I did it until Monday morning because it was a traditional radio thing I did for my car. And the guy said to me, and it was a long segment, it was a really good segment, me and Kenny Rhoda. And he said to me, so what's the key to the Browns winning the game? And I'm like, they got to take the ball away. And they have no other point at that point for Jim Schwartz, but to strip, because this team fumbles the ball. And once you start to fumble the ball, and there's some thought that Lamar's not as careful with the ball in the pocket as a pocket quarterback as he may have been as a running quarterback, strip. And at some point, you pop 2 out, you fall on them. We get 10 points out of it. That moves the game. And it didn't work out exactly like that. And certainly the Kyle Hamilton play. Well, the Kyle Hamilton play sort of waited out. The blocked field goal on Tucker was a big play. I mean, the Browns had a couple of explosives. Now, the Ravens had the big play with Beckham. They had the big play with Keaton Mitchell and the big play defensively. But that's all the Ravens. They didn't piss a drop the rest of the day in regard to a drive, a real drive.
And you know what's strange is it seems that we're playing really well, and then we don't. And when we don't, man, it's hard to turn that momentum switch back on. When they can't drive, when they got a 3 and out, or they got a 6 and out, or they just can't move the ball, it seems like it's really hard to get going again. And they just didn't get going again.
I think it's a lot more difficult without your tackles against Myles Garrett and against that defense.
My goodness.
Playing angry.
He's a monster. That dude. Now let me refresh my memory for a second. Was Myles Garrett, I think he was the one that swung his helmet and cracked a guy in the head back on Monday Night Football. Was that Myles Garrett?
I believe that was him, yes.
That was him, right? It is amazing to me that he's in the league. Now, I know that was a mistake and an emotional breakdown on his part, and I get it. He's a talent, and they're going to give him 8 chances, whatever. But, man, when I saw that
was
live,
the Steelers. That was the quarterback on the Steelers, right? The backup quarterback.
Was it Rudolph?
Mason Rudolph, right.
Yeah. He cracked him in the head with his helmet. I thought for sure the league was taking him out forever. I didn't think that man would step foot on a football field again. And he's got accolades now, like he's one of the greatest defensive players of all time. And he is, but man, I'll tell you what, after that play, I couldn't believe that
Well, here's something that really is going to split your heart. And I know you've been very disappointed behind the scenes, in front and in back, of how John Harbaugh has treated me and my family. And I know how you feel about Jim Harbaugh on your Ohio State side.
How about that?
You love John Harbaugh on Sunday, you hate Jim Harbaugh on Saturday, right? Like for you Ohio State guys, and your kid goes to Ohio State.
He got caught.
And I put some thing up about the Harbaugh family being cheaters and liars, and all the purple sycophants came out. I'm like, whoa. Google John Harbaugh and cheating and breaking the rules.
He's been caught a few times.
He's been burned several times. He is an absolute confirmed liar to me.
Too many practices.
Based on my own
practices.
Lying to me about my personal integrity and what I do and my ability to feed my family. So, like, to me, the hardballs will always fall in a different category than I ever believed they were. And I had somebody write me, actually a sponsor, a dear friend wrote me, said, I'm halfway through Purple Rain 2. I love it. I'm like, well, I wrote it 10 years ago. I feel a little differently about things now as I signed that book. But in the case of Google Marvin Lewis and cheating, you know what pops up? Vontez Burfict stupid stuff that he had nothing to do with, right? Like
right.
Marvin put players on the field that had all sorts of jurisprudence issues, but Marvin never cheated, right? Like, so I'm thinking like cheating and Google Brian Billick cheating or breaking. Go ahead, Google it. You can't because he never did. And but Belichick, there's a book on that. Harbaugh, there's a book on that. And you know what I learned? And this is, were you giving me a psychology thing here? This is what I wrote down my thread to a friend of mine who was pissed about that. I'm like, you know what? Here's what I've learned. The more paranoid people are, the more they probably are on the wrong side of whatever they're paranoid about. In whatever walk of life, if you're too paranoid, it tells me you probably robbed a bank at some point, you know? That's my life experience.
Where there's clouds, there's rain, baby.
There you go. See, I knew you'd have something for me like that.
Hey, Jim's gotten, well, according to, there's no crying in football. Did you see the guy, I think he's the offensive coordinator who coached Michigan on Saturday? They won the game. He did an interview and he was all teary-eyed.
I saw him. I did this for you.
Oh, great. Stop crying. There's no crying in football. Your team won the game against an inferior Penn State team. Okay, great. Good for you. Go home. We got Maryland.
When is Ohio State, Michigan? When does this thing happen?
Thanksgiving weekend, Saturday night.
I'm just checking. I just know something's going to brew.
Saturday night, Thanksgiving. It's the game of the year. It will be the game of the year. In the coaches poll, they're 2-3. In the AP, in the not the AP, the FBS. Are
you going to the game?
Don't know yet. Don't know yet.
Okay, it's at the big house. Where is it?
It's at the big house. Yes.
Okay.
I got it. The boy arrives in
See,
Baltimore.
Now that intrigues me. You know, that's
the boy arrives in
like
Baltimore next Sunday. Oh. Next Sunday, before Thanksgiving, he's off for the week.
Well, you get all your Ravens in now. They have 3 games
that's right.
in 10 days.
That's right.
And then, like, they go to California. They take a week off. They're just on, right?
How about 5? What is it? 4 primetime games out of 5?
Well, and that's the
only
Jets.
One at home. Only one at home.
The Jets are on TV every night.
Oh, they're terrible. Terrible. Thursday, Sunday, Monday. I mean, my goodness. Can't they flex these games?
Oh, something.
Who puts on the Jets and the Raiders?
Hey, by the way, Ravens and 49ers on Christmas night.
I know. Right? I had tickets. A dear friend offered tickets. And you know what the wife said?
Have you been to Santa Clara?
I have not for a game yet.
Yeah, I missed the regular season game with the Ravens with my wife having cancer. I've been there once. I was there for the Super Bowl. I was there for the Peyton Manning and Coldplay did halftime. By the way, what's her name? Lady Gaga did the national anthem that day. I can't believe that's not considered one of the greatest national anthems ever because that was
maybe.
I've been to 27 Super Bowls. I've seen them all. I've been moved. I've been spiritually, whatever. The Lady Gaga that day was
it?
So that's what I remember about Santa. I was with my friend Julio Bermejo, one of my favorite people. So.
Yeah, I have a good friend out there who offered me as soon as the schedule came out, and the wife said, "Christmas?
Nah,
I don't think so."
It's nice in Northern California. The wine country.
No, it's not a matter. It's not a matter of. We do Christmas with her family in the Charlotte suburbs, and we do that every year. And tradition is not being broken for football. I said to her, "We have tickets." She said, "We are not going."
This is the same lady that got a couch.
A ticket. That's
got
right.
a couch, and you got Super Bowl tickets.
I said,
Super Bowl 35.
I have tickets. She said, "You're not going."
Leonard Raskin is here. He is Raskin Global. They do money. They tell everybody what you do. Give them the elevator speech for you.
Yeah. We're about just what you said. We do money. We help you do everything with your money, from budgeting to tax planning to estate planning to protecting your wealth, like the line protects Lamar, insurance, investment, all of it. We look at everything you're doing with your money, make sure you're not making mistakes. Make sure you're doing the things that are right for you, not right for the financial institutions, not right for the government. Government and the financial institutions have all kinds of strategies to help you lose your money. They tell you it's ways to make your money. We tell you how to make your money, how to hold your money, how to protect your money, how to grow your money. how to enjoy your wealth. Most importantly, enjoy your wealth and pass it on. A fiduciary practice, as a matter of fact, I have a book coming out, my first ever real book.
Is this all your blogs put in one place? All the blog wisdom?
This is philosophy and fiduciary. It's called Fiducia Who. It's about what a real fiduciary will tell you about protecting, growing, enjoying, and transferring your wealth. It's a book about what I do, how I do it, the 40,000 to 20,000 foot view of
your accumulated knowledge.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
exactly right.
I've been trying to do that too. That's what I try. That's what Baltimore Positive. It's my accumulated knowledge.
That's it. It's coming out shortly.
I want to plug a piece I did last week that your wife might like, my wife might like. I'm just throwing it out there because I'm broadening my own horizons. My friend Karen Sagal, who's been a publicist in town for 25 years.
Know Karen very well.
She was my publicist back in the 90s when I was at WLG, all that. Just known her forever. She said, "Hey, I got this anthropologist from Baltimore. I think she'd make a fun guest for you." And her name was Linda Rabin. She was scared to death to come on. She told me that before she came on. She did 25 minutes about stained glass and the beauty of stained glass and how it was a rich person's thing. Regular people then wanted it. A war happened. After the war, austerity, nobody could afford it. And it's still in certain places. And my wife would always see it over Northeast Baltimore specifically. Yeah. You go through those neighborhoods, stained glass, a big part. So I'm all about expanding knowledge here, right? I'm taking everything I learn and you're taking everything you learn. When's this book coming out?
It's in final edit. I would imagine by year end. We'll have it out.
I didn't even hear about this till today. You got a book and it's already over with and you're just telling me? I thought you liked me.
We'll have it out on Jan 1. I'm happy to have you read the transcript and give us a little sign off.
You guys are all the same, man. It's like John Allen, my buddy in the rock and roll band. He's like, I'm like, you're going on tour. Why don't I know about it? Like, I thought we knew. I thought we were friends. You know what I mean?
Book's coming.
Leonard Raskin is here. He will be there. He's at Raskin Global. He's only here for the crab cakes, and I do them. So we're going to be at Costas this week, Pappas next week. We're going to be at Coco's. We're going to be at Gertrude's. We're going to be at the Hollywood Casino in Perryville. We're going to be at State Fair. We're going to be at Farr and Dodder in Timonium. I'm importing a crab cake from Leonard's original side of town, and it's a crab cake that I've only had once in my life. It was really delicious. I don't even know the owner, but I want to know her, and I'm going to feature that in December. So I'm doing stuff around here. Stay with us. It's the Maryland Crab Cake Tour presented by the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with our friends at Window Nation and Jiffy Lube Multi-Care. You can find Leonard Raskin at raskinglobal.com. You can also find him and his wisdom at baltimorepositive.com. I hope he doesn't leave us for greener pastures once he becomes a published author.
Yeah, that's it.
We are WNST AM 1570 Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore positive.